Hello, my name is Cameron, and today I'll be giving you an overview of some Cricut and Cricut Design Space basics. Here at NTPL, we have 4 different Cricut machines. We have several Cricut Explore Air 2s, 1 Cricut Maker 3, 1 Cricut Heat Press, and 1 Cricut Mug Press. By the end of this series of videos, you should be able to confidently and safely use all of the Cricut hardware that I just mentioned, as well as the Cricut software, which is Cricut Design Space. So without further ado, let's get started. There are 2 cables to be plugged into the Cricut, one of which is a power cable and one that connects it to a computer via USB. You will need to plug in both of these cables before powering on the machine. Once this is done, we will need to sign into Cricut Design Space. After you've signed in, use the drop down to select the machine you are using. So in my case, that's a Cricut Maker 3. Now that you've selected the correct machine, it is time to open up the canvas. This can be done in 2 different ways. So you can either click New Project here up in the right-hand corner, or you can go Canvas here using this little sidebar with the 3 horizontal lines. And once you open up a canvas, it should look like this. Once we have the canvas open, it is often good to work from a starting point. If you look to the left of the canvas, you should see a card that says Projects beneath it. Click on Projects and choose Explosion Birthday Cards. So we're going to go into Projects and just type in Explosion Birthday Card and hit Enter, and this is the one we are going to use. Once you've selected it, you should see an overview of the materials needed and the steps to complete the project. So if I scroll down, it'll tell me the materials to be cut, and along with the tools needed and the steps down here. If you have all the materials and want the project to be exactly as displayed, you can click Make It, which is down here at the bottom right, and then follow the provided instructions. For the purposes of this video, we are going to click on Customize, which is just here to the left of the Make It button. At this point, you should see that your project shows up on the canvas. We will leave it at this point for now. In the meantime, we'll have a look at the image catalog. You can click on Images in the same sidebar where you found Projects. Once you do, you should see a search bar on your screen. This is where we will search for our images. So in my case, I'm just going to do some cats. Before you go on to picking an image, we will first learn how to filter them. So along the left here, you'll see all these different things we can filter for. So if we wanted to filter by operation and have our cat be only something we cut out of cardstock, then these are all the cut only ones. If we wanted it just to be something that we drew with the pen tool, we'd click on Draw Only. And there we go. If we want it to cut and draw, we could click on this, and then we have a bunch where it's going to cut out our cardstock and draw on top of it. Alright, so I'm just going to pick a couple here. I'm going to pick one that's cut only, and you can also filter for a single layer. So these should all be one color, guys. And I'm just going to look for something that's kind of solid, like this one, that we can cut out and add to our card easily. So I could click Add to Canvas at this point, but I'm not going to yet. I am going to grab my cut and draw cats. Cut and draw. Why am I not getting... Oh, that's why. Still have single layer click. Okay, so here are my cut and draw cats. You can see there's a whole bunch to choose from. I'm just going to do one that has a single pen color. Let's go with... we'll go with this one. So now you can see I have them both selected down here, and I can click Add to Canvas. If I wanted to deselect this one and pick a different one, I could just click on it again. You can see it goes away, and then I can re-add a different one, but I'm just going to use the same one, and then when we're ready, we can click Add to Canvas. Before we do, I'll just show you another feature. So if you're scrolling through and you see one you like, but you want to keep looking, you can also click the Save button here, and then if you check the Save box, it'll show up over here. All right. Actually, I'm just going to unsave that one. And then I'm going to add these to my canvas. And there we go. So I'm just going to drag these off to the side, click on the canvas somewhere away from them so I can just select one of them, and I'll move that over here. You'll notice that while you have the image selected, it will have little nodes at the corner that you can click and drag to resize your image. So those are just right here. The ability to resize will keep the dimensions constrained in order to avoid distorting your image. If you want to adjust the height and not the width, or vice versa, that can be clicking the little lock above the height and width values. So that's just up here along the top bar, right here between the one that says W and the one that says H, just right there. So you can click it to unlock, and then you could stretch it or flip it around, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to undo those changes though, and it defaults to being locked. You can also input the size you want your image to be directly into these fields. So you could just highlight this and type in something totally different if you wanted. I'm going to select my card to figure out the size of it, and then divide the width in half as I want to add my images to one side of the card. I will then make a rectangle using the Shapes tool and input the dimensions of the card with half the width. I also would like to add some text. Now I'm going to do the rectangle first. So I'll grab a rectangle. Well, technically it's a square tool. Okay, there we go. All right, so I can see that this is 8.4 inches wide by 5.48 inches tall. So I'm going to grab my square and we'll unlock this and go 5.48. And then how wide was it again? About 8.4. So I'm going to do 4.2. And there we go. Okay, now that I have my rectangle the size I want, I'm actually going to go up here under Operation and transform it to a guide, because this isn't something I actually want to cut out. I just want to use it for size reference. So I also would like to add some text. So the text tool is just here along the sidebar as well. It's just right here, the one that looks like a T. And I am going to type in to a actually we'll go lowercase, perfect birthday. Sorry, I'm typing with one hand here. So now that we have that, I'll just show you up here. You can see you can switch it from regular to bold and italic, or writing, which I'll do like little thin ones. I'm going to leave mine regular for now. You can pick a different font. So maybe I'll do that. What we want it to be pen. Okay, that is the pen I want to use. So I think that's good. All right, and now what we're going to do is use the nodes that I mentioned before here in the corners to resize this. The height and width are locked, so we should be good to just drag this down without having to worry about messing anything up in terms of skewing our font or stretching it in any way. So now we'll make use of the alignment tool. So we're going to want to select both of these, the font and the square that we made, or the rectangle we made. And then we're going to click on the little alignment tool here on the top bar. So now that I've dragged my font into place, vertically, I want to align it centered horizontally. So I'm just gonna, with having them both selected, I'm just gonna click on this and you'll see it just shifts it over a little bit. Okay, so now at this point I can hit Control and G, and that should keep these in the same position relative to each other. So if I come in, I click on my text, it'll drag them both together. And now I'm going to do the same thing, resizing my cats, and I'm just going to place them wherever they look good on this card. So I think right there is good. And then we'll resize this one a bit smaller still, maybe like that. Maybe we'll make, on second thought, our geometric cat, maybe we'll make it a bit smaller. Let's bring it forward just to make things easy. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So again, I'm going to drag a big box over everything. You can also come in and click things individually, but it can be kind of hard sometimes. Like if I were to try to click this cat, you can see the this group, the box we made along with the writing, is actually on a higher layer than the cat, so it won't let me click on it unless I bring this up to a higher layer. That's not what I wanted though. I just want it. I want it above that one, but underneath that. I don't want it to be grouped. Maybe I'll do it by dragging this group down. Okay, there we go. That's easier. So you can see it's a little bit finicky sometimes, but now I could grab them both from here. You can also select them on the side. So if you wanted to select everything at the same time, hold Shift, click, 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 and then you have them all selected. But it's easier if you can do it without selecting things you don't want, to just drag a big box over all of them. And then you get all of them. You can group them all together, and then you don't have to worry about it. So we're going to, at this point, I'll use the alignment tool again. So if you want to do it this way and hold Shift, you can select both of these. And now, since we know that this page is about the same size as half of this card, we should be able to go align left and get it lined up right around that left-hand margin. And then align at top. At this point, we have all the elements of our project lined up where we want them. Earlier, I mentioned the layers panel to the right of the canvas, so that's this one. And now is when we will start making use of it. Earlier, we selected our rectangle and changed the operation from cut to guide, which will stop our Cricut from trying to cut out the rectangle we made to align our images and text. Next, we changed our text from a cut to the pen tool. So again, that's up here under operation. It starts out on basic cut, and we changed it to pen so that it will write it. That we're looking at our layers panel, we are going to click and drag our newly created pen operation on the layers panel into the attached project so that it writes our text directly onto the cardstock, like the happy birthday on the front card. So just to show you what that looks like, you left click here, and then you can just drag this down into the original project so it knows to write it right on the cardstock. So we are now ready to click Make It. That's just up here in the top right. So at this point, we'll need our blade that comes in the machine. We'll need our scoring pen tool and a regular pen tool. So I'm just going to click Make It here. And then we're going to do this on a mat. So I'll click on Mat. And the mats we have are 12 by 12, so you can see it's going to want to do this gray cardstock layer first. Now you can obviously change the colors to whatever you want or whatever cardstock you have handy. You'll see our second layer, it's cutting out this cat on the black cardstock. And then this is where we'll see if we did everything right in terms of our text onto the existing project. And you can see that it's got the pen here, and then all the little cutouts and the main cutout around the outside. So it looks like we've done everything right. Thank you for tuning into the first video in a 3-part series covering the Cricut. In this video, we covered Cricut Design Space, and in the next video, we will actually begin loading our cutting mats into our Cricut machines in order to begin cutting out the pieces of our project. Have a nice day!